Hey everyone, as requested, I'm going to swatch all of the new things that I showed you, and hopefully I remember to swatch all of the pencils. So let's zoom in a bit more and hope that I remember to stay in frame. It's always the challenges. So this is Crimson Aubergine, then this 866 is, I can't remember, and then 746 is Dark Flesh. Now before you ask me, I'm not sure which paper it is. I just have here this signature that I made from a bunch of papers, so I don't know. It feels like cellulose. Wow, this is beautiful. I think this one is 50% Burnt Sienna, but I'll write down in the description. And then this one is Dark Flesh, so you can see it. I think it would be great for skin tones. This, oh, the Sepia 50% I also got because I love the 10%. Yeah, so this one is 50% Burnt Sienna, I'm pretty sure about that. And then this is the Sepia. I usually don't really use them like this. You've probably seen me, I just scribble with them through wet paint most of the time. So these are the Caran D'ache colors. Now let's get to the interesting stuff, the watercolors. I'll start with the Rembrandt Transparent Oxide Red. And you can see that this is really kind of like a burnt sienna sort of color. I don't even know if I have a tube of burnt sienna. Maybe I have one from Core. Okay, yes, I have one from Core that came in the Earth Tones set. So we can compare those next to each other. And I think every brand has a slightly different variation of Burnt Sienna. It's, you know, a real classic color that many artists use. I have to say, for me, it's not a staple. I'm not a huge fan of these warm earth colors, but with autumn coming, I thought I could try and see how I like to use them. And I can definitely tell you that I prefer the Rembrandt one, the Rembrandt Transparent Oxide Red. I don't know if Core has a version of this particular color. The pigment is PR101. I think it's the same one as Burnt Sienna, isn't it? Okay, it's the same one as Venetian Red. And no, Burnt Sienna is PBR7. But Venetian Red is a very opaque color most of the time. And yeah, you can see, so this is really intense, kind of an orangey color. And let's see what happens when we really water it down, so we get this soft color. I don't want to start now with the mixes because then we'll never see the end of it, but I think it will be fun to mix this with all of my light colors, you know, like buff titanium and white and even Naples yellow, to see what kind of shades we can get. So this is the Transparent Red Oxide from Rembrandt, and then this is just Burnt Sienna from Core. Let's move on to this one. Now this is a special color that I really can't tell you how I feel about it until I get to use it more. So this is Daniel Smith Burnt Bronzite Genuine, and it's one of their Primatech colors made from minerals. I know some people think this is kind of a real gimmicky thing that Daniel Smith does, but personally I love these different pigments, and yeah, for me they're really inspiring, and I love playing around with them and seeing what kind of colors I can get. And again, this I think would be really fun in mixes. But it's a beautiful, it's kind of a brown I can tolerate. It's a pretty shade, and now it's wet, so we can't really see the shimmer in it. It is a shimmery color, it has some sparkle in it, but when it's dry I'll show you how it looks. But this is how the color looks, and then I really like it actually watered down. You get this really soft brown that I find interesting. Okay, now this one is intense. This is Perylene Maroon. I've had naphthalmide, I think it's called, maroon for years, and I love that color. This is the cousin that is just wow. So you can see how straight from the tube it's crazy, crazy intense, and it is so beautiful. And I think this one mixed with white and, you know, buff titanium and Naples yellow is going to be incredible. So super, super intense color and just lovely. And when you really water it down, you get kind of almost like a potter's pink kind of color, I would say. These two are granulating, and then this one I don't think it is a granulating color. But look at that beautiful tone. Now I want to see if I can find my naphthalmide maroon so you can see the difference. I always recommend, and I stand behind this recommendation, of getting the Daniel Smith dot card. I think it's worth it and might save you a lot of money, even though it is pricey. So this is the naphthalmide maroon, and you can see that it's a lot more purple or pinkish than this color, but I think both of these will be so beautiful for autumn inspired paintings. So this one also, when you water it down, you get this more of a kind of a muted pinky purple kind of color. So I hope you can see the differences and you can decide which one is more for you. And now let's move on to the turquoises and greens. Well, let's stay on this page, why not? Okay, we'll start with a light one, the Fuschite, which is another Primatech color. And this is just a beautiful minty color that has some sparkle to it. Okay, and it's just lovely and transparent. And it really reminds me of my Sennelier Emerald Green, which, where are you, my palette? I want to swatch them for you side by side so you can again decide which one you think is more your thing. Now, the Daniel Smith one is more expensive than the Sennelier color. Sennelier one doesn't have shimmer in it. I would say they're quite similar. On camera they look more similar than they do in real life. In real life, the emerald green from Sennelier is just a teeny tiny bit on the green side. It just has a little bit more green. Now maybe you can see it on camera. It just has a little bit more green. Doesn't have shimmer. My problem with the Sennelier one is that it's not vegan, and that's why I'm going to switch to the Fuschite. But if you don't like the shimmer and you don't have a problem with honey in your watercolors, then I really recommend trying the Sennelier one. I love that color. It's beautiful. So let's move on to Amazonite Genuine. This is a beautiful kind of, well, let's see. Teal, I would say. So I would say it's kind of a mid-tone. It's not super dark when it's straight out of the tube, but it has a beautiful tone to it. And yeah, really lovely. Let's take a look. I'm trying to think what I have in my palette that resembles this. I don't like all of the phthalo turquoise colors. To me, they're too intense. And this one, if I'm not mistaken, is also granulating, which I prefer. This is also a Primatech color. I've really come to love more these kind of, I don't know, kind of vibrant, alive colors that are not like crazy, crazy staining intense like you can see with the phthalos. So this is, just so we can have a good idea, this is Cobalt Turquoise from Sennelier. I think they actually call it Cobalt Turquoise Green or Cobalt Green Turquoise. And then the Cobalt Teal. Okay, so this is much further away. This is a lot more kind of vibrant and blue. But you can see that the Amazonite is, I would say, just a bit greener. And then it reminds me, as I'm swatching it, it reminds me of Cascade Green. So I want to see how those look next to each other, also to give you an idea. So yeah, I think these are really similar, but the Cascade Green has, it's just a bit greener, but quite similar colors. Interesting. So I think if you have Cascade Green, then I don't think it's a big difference, the Amazonite, and vice versa. Just trying to see. Yeah, the Cascade Green just behaves a little bit differently with the separation. You can see the turquoise more. I think it's also obvious on camera. So they are kind of a little bit different, but not really, like not so different. Okay, so now let's swatch Olive Green by Daniel Smith. And this is beautiful. This is really the kind of greens that I love. It's kind of gold green, but I'll swatch it next to the gold green so we can see the differences. Maybe. I don't have Gold Green by Daniel Smith, but we can see some similar colors and decide. So I really love this. It's such a beautiful earthy olive color. You can see that you can get darker values, but also lovely when watered down. So let's see what I have in my palette. I have Serpentine Green from Daniel Smith. Let's see how these compare. The pigments in Olive Green, it's a mixture of PY97, PB29, and Raw Umber PBR7. Okay, so now you know. Take a look. So it's 3 pigments. Not really ideal if you really care about single pigments, but I have kind of learned to let go, and if I see a color that I really love, I just go for it. Okay, so this is Serpentine, and you can see this is more yellowish. I really prefer this tone personally. This looks kind of next to it. It looks almost a little bit garish. I usually mix the Serpentine with other colors, but yeah, I would definitely, if I had to pick between the two of them, I would definitely go with the olive just from the tone of it. I can't tell you in mixes how well it works. And now this is like a yellow green or green gold from either Rembrandt or Van Gogh. So this is more a classic, what I would say, like a green gold. You can see a very, very yellowish green, and I have to say that I prefer the olive green. Okay, 296, this is Azo Green Yellow. It's a newer color from Van Gogh. And you can see it's a single pigment, quite intense. Okay, and this one is the Van Gogh Olive Green. I just wanted to see because I remembered I had something similar. And the Van Gogh one has only 2 pigments, so PG7 and PY154. And it's also nice, but I think you would agree that the olive green from Daniel Smith just has more depth and interest to it. You can kind of see also the colors splitting a bit more. I can see the yellow here, and then we have the dark granulation. The Serpentine is also showing us the granulation, which is pretty, but I think just the base color of it is way too green. I hardly ever use this color in its pure form. With the olive green, I think I wouldn't have a problem to use it pure, because it's lovely, even though it's 3 pigments. I didn't even check, honestly. I don't mind so much. So that's it. Now you can see also the sparkle in the Bronzite. I think it's almost dry, so it is a little bit sparkly, but it's not crazy. And then the Fuschite is with the one on the top, and then underneath it is the Sennelier one. Again, quite subtle, which I'm okay with. If I want sparkly, intense, shimmering watercolors, then that's a different niche, and I'm okay with, you know, having those on their own. But these colors, I really want them to kind of be a daily use kind of colors, and so I'm happy that the sparkle is not intense. With the Fuschite, it's really not intense. It's more of a kind of a light shimmer, and then the Bronzite is really more sparkly. Hopefully you can see the effect. So it's just this delicate sparkle, and then here it's just like a bit of a sheen. There's not real, you know, these sparkling particles that you see here. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. I hope, you know, you can make some better decisions, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye.